see. Adjust this angle a little bit. Hello, everybody. Happy MLK birthday. Is everybody doing okay? Welcome, welcome. Looks like there's a nice group of us. Let's go ahead and get started. Sorry I'm a little late. I was deciding what lipstick to put on. Okay, let's go ahead and give gratitude to everyone who took the time to stop by. So we're going to start by saying hello to Pier Walker. Welcome, welcome. You are the first, Pier. Bad Boy Rob. Special place in my heart. Neuro World Girl. Ah, very nice name. Hello. Catherine Herrick is in the house. Hello, Catherine. Julie Tirado. Yes, we are all beautiful and sensitive people. A Canary is here. You did make a live session. We're glad you're here. SS, hi everyone. Hello to you as well. Mage Baker, welcome, welcome. A Park. Jackie is in the house. Sarah, Lisa, Angela. Noel is our moderator extraordinaire. Teresa is here. Edith, hello. L. Forrest, hello. Patricia Shanofsky, hello. Looks like we have a lot of people here. We'll keep saying hi. Connie Campbell, welcome, welcome. Good to see you, Connie. Danette Green, Diane Silky, Yolanda is here. Great to see you, Yolanda McGuire. Melinda Salinas, Brooklyn girl, love Brooklyn. Ronnie, shalom. And yes, she gives you hearts right back. She was just here. I don't know where she's now, but she will come back. Patricia S. is in the house. Angela Johnson, Sarah, Kate Sweetblue. It's wonderful to see you as well. Vicky, Elizabeth. All right, so let's get started. Michelle Taylor, and Ona and Noel are our moderators extraordinaire. Wow. Excuse me. Talk about a lot of questions. Usually the night before we do a tarot card blitz, I will post the information and the time so that people know we're going to be doing one. Everybody asked a lot of questions. It's a busy time of year for us, right? So I think what we'll do is we'll go ahead. We're going to go right into the blitz. The Boso O is also here moderating. Thank you. All right, let's do a simple prayer just to help me focus and to help us focus as a group. Make sure I get all the cards out. All right, let's do this. I want to call on white light protection for myself and my viewers as we ask permission from Spirit to access the Akashic records. We call on our spirit guides and good angels to be with us. Give us the clarity and the wisdom that is needed to empower all of us so that we can all make the best decisions for ourselves, our families, the planet, for the people we love, and to even help those we have strife with. And together, let us say amen. All right, so we're going to go ahead and do a general for the week ahead. We have a lot of questions. These cards feel really thick. I'm using the Radiance, I think, today. Am I using the Radiance? I'm using a different deck, so it feels a little strange. Hope the angle is okay for everybody. All right, so this is the week in review. Let's make sure we've got enough space here. A celebration is coming for the nation. You can see a 3 of Cups coming in and an Ace of Wands. So there's a feeling of the people, 3 of Cups celebrating, and there's a feeling of a celebration. Ace of Wands is traditionally, it's like someone's mojo. It looks a little bit like, well, it's a phallic symbol. So it's one's power. It's the seat of one's power. It's also, it has to do with abundance, wealth, growth, fertility. But there's this celebration here. You know, my first hit when I look at those 2 base cards is that some massive trove of information is about to get dumped. So let's take a look where we are at right now. I don't think as a nation we are communicating. There's a feeling that everybody is holding their own position, 2 of Swords. It's interesting when you talk to Republicans about what they're upset about, the people that voted for Trump, and you talk to people who are Democrats, liberals, progressive, they both say they're upset about the same exact things. It's just that they're both convinced that their side is the good side and the other side is the bad side. So 2 of Swords is like a stalemate, hear no evil, see no evil, speak no evil. It's a position of immovability. If something doesn't change dramatically, they're not going to have the votes in the Senate to hear witnesses with a card like that. And then what crosses it is a new contract, some kind of contract or offer. I think they're going to try and get Trump off. Whether they get Trump off or not, it's kind of irrelevant because the information is going to keep coming out over and over and over again against this president, and his ratings are dropping now below 42%. But there seems to be a refusal to hear information, a refusal to look at the information, and right now they could be on the verge of arguing both sides of the case. You can see here most likely this is Justice Roberts hearing the case. This is devil, temptation, addiction, codependency, a feeling that one is one's heart has been given to something addictive or to be chained in a relationship that you can't get out of. It's the opposition it's the opposition to the 4th house, which is the Emperor, which is Robert's card. There are these offers that keep coming in. And here again, we see a 6 of Cups, offer to return back to something that we left behind. The World card. There's another judge or another person that's strong, it seems to be something of an equal to Roberts that somehow is a part of this. This could be either Adam Schiff's card or it could be Robert Mueller or something. What's interesting about this card chart is I think that Roberts really is trying to be a referee and he's really going to try and be impartial. The hopes and the fears. The hope and the fear of the Republican Party appears to be the emotional instability of the president, that the president is going to screw up during the trial, that he's not emotionally stable enough to go through this process, that he may start tweeting, declaring war on people, etc. It's the emotion, it's the anger, the instability. And then the final outcome, this keeps coming up like moon, confusion. I think one of the modes, the tactics that the Republicans are going to try that are defending the president is chaos, to create chaos, gaslighting, confusion, the moon. People will be more confused. Wow, that's why it was thick. I have 2 decks in here. Oh well. Well, there's no accidents. Let's just go ahead and keep that. Going into smoother waters and an offer. You know, I'm going to remove that. There could be a situation where Trump is given an offer. He may be able to get out of this, but conditions of getting out of it. Conditions. How did that happen? Sorry, I seem to have thrown some cards in. Oh no, that's fine. It's just one card. Okay. The conditions of him leaving, there's this offer that happens. Ace of Cups keeps coming in. It's so weird that my senior deck wound up in my new deck. I don't know. He's going to try and skate out of it. Six of Swords is like to get out of a situation, a rocky situation. He may slide out of this, but I don't think it's over with him. I don't think this is over. Okay. Let's see how we're doing here. Teflon Don. Yeah, I think he's going to try and skate out of this. But even if he gets out of it in the Senate, I don't think that's the end of his problems. Because there's more coming. And it looks like they're very frightened of his emotional instability, which seems to be getting worse and worse and worse. Okay, people had asked me to go ahead and take a look at Barr. They want to find out if Barr is going to be disbarred. And they also want to find out why Lev Parnas is afraid of him. So let's go in and take a look. What is going on with Barr? What is going on with William Barr? Will he be disbarred? I know Nancy Pelosi he's being surrounded. Like the last time I threw, the night before I did a Blitz, I had checked his cards and it was like Nancy Pelosi was coming after him. Where's Mila? She went to her bed to go to sleep. This is not her bed. She was here and then she left. Okay, William Barr. Mila, do you want to join us? She's on her cushion. William Barr. It's going to be with William Barr. Where he is at right now, 10 of Swords. And an offer, Ace of Cups. Same thing, Barr is in trouble. I keep seeing that. Barr is in trouble. You know, it's interesting. You go into a remote with William Barr. He's one of those people that I have trouble remote viewing. When you try to go into his remote, he says, let me do my job. He doesn't participate. He's a very closed off person. Doing his job. He keeps saying he feels that what he's doing is legal. He always justifies it. He is worried, though. There's a 9 of Swords. He's going to be doing some traveling. He's very worried about some trip that's coming up. Some truth that's coming out. You can see the High Priestess moving in. It looks like he's concerned about some truth that's coming up about some secret alliances or relationships that have happened in the past that he's concerned are going to be revealed. You can see the High Priestess in the 7th house, and then this alliance here. Here, Two of Wands is an alliance, this is an alliance, and this is an alliance. If you're looking at worry and traveling, action, reaction, leaving, regarding an alliance, hopes and fears, the Ace of Swords, that's strange. And then Three of Cups is to celebrate. I think Roberts could help Trump get off, unfortunately, with cards like this, but I don't think that that's the end of the problem. If Trump gets off in the Senate, I still see an erosion of the Republican Party, and if anything, it will. See, that Four of Cups is coming in, a refusal to take an offer. Three of Cups, which is a celebration. And the fact that the Ten of Swords is where he's at right now. I'm going to have to do a clarification on this. This looks like a cover-up. It looks like there's a difference between withholding information from the general public because it's an active investigation and actually a cover-up. Thank you, Coriel. Yes, we are donating to the Australian trees. So thank you, Coriel, for that donation. This month, we're going to be giving a lot of money to the Australian, for the Australian fires. All right. Do one more throw on Bark. And also, I want to find out why Lev Parnas is afraid of him. What's going on with William Barr? And will he be disbarred? Will he be removed as justice? This guy is shifty. Fleeing like the thief. I keep seeing leaving. You see here, the Knight of Wands is to flee or to leave, and there's the Thief's card. Something about him leaving seems to be yeah. I think that Barr could leave. You can see here, Five of Swords moving in, walking away from a battle he can't win. King of Swords moving in. It looks like he's going to have a conflict possibly with the military. There's Nancy Pelosi. I'm telling you, Nancy Pelosi is after William Barr. Trying to frame this so that everybody can see it. Nancy Pelosi showing evidence. Look at this. The load. Action, reaction. I'm telling you, her and Adam Schiff are after this guy. And so is, this is some military or... World card. He appears to have some kind of exposure, and there seems to be, look at this, the tower's moving in for him. I think he's in a lot of trouble. The fact that it's showing imagery like the world, etc., leads me to think that there's also some kind of international investigation into Barr, and possibly something Barr is doing that caught the attention of intelligence agencies outside the United States. So that is what we see. Thank you, Patrick. I will plant more some trees for you. Aussie trees. Yes, thank you, Yvette. Keep it up. Thank you, thank you. I shall. So, yeah, it looks like Nancy Pelosi is after him. It looks like Adam Schiff is after him. It looks like some kind of international expose. that the international intelligence agencies intercepted some kind of communication or action by Barr, which is questionable, and it's going to be exposed. And that it kept talking about him leaving. If there's an international feel to this, if he's working internationally in a way he shouldn't, that would possibly explain why Lev Parnas is scared of him. If he's corrupted, if that's the exposure, then it seems to indicate some type of corruption on his part. All right. People wanted me to do the Senate trial and what the most likely outcome of the Senate trial is. So let's just go ahead and look at the Senate trial. Everybody have fun? Good to see you all. Did everybody have a nice weekend? The truth always comes out, doesn't it? What is the most likely outcome for the Senate trial? Will Justice Roberts side with the majority? Let's look. There's an alliance here that's coming to an end. Wonder if they're going to throw this guy to the sharks. There's a treasure trove of information. I call the Empress the treasure trove because it's a fertility card. If it's about information, it often indicates that a ton of information is coming out. And then what crosses it? This is going to get linked back to Mueller. Confusion. The devil again in their third house. I think people are being blackmailed inside the Senate. I think that there's something going on here. They're chained to the devil. There's some confusion regarding being chained to the devil, but there's some kind of exposure that's coming out. Past. Walking away. I think that they are slowly going to leave their alliance with this president. Look at this. The moon card coming in with the 5 of swords to break away from this devil card. Some kind of internet. Remember when I talked about the international community being involved, or the international community comes out? That's what it looks like. Following the money, and then the final outcome. The military is also somehow involved in this. This is about exposures. I think that they're going to try and confuse the situation. I think the Republicans are going to confuse the situation to justify their behavior, but there's mounting evidence that's going to come out during the trial, and it has something to do with international alliances and communication, and it could sway Justice Roberts. And the military may be testifying with that. But this is also Trump's card. The alliance ends. It's interesting. It may, it could be, it's like on the edge of your seat, reality TV, where we think that the president is winning, and there's gaslighting going on in the moon card. And then this new energy comes in where there's this exposure. It's an international exposure. And I think Justice Roberts may break the tie. He's the outcome. So I think Dang. I gotta just throw on Justice Roberts now because I'm curious about Roberts' decision. All right. What will Justice Roberts be the breaking tie? Will he break the tie in the Senate if there's a tie? There's concerns that not every Democrat will vote to hear witnesses. The new Alabama senator, for example. Okay. How will Roberts oversee? Well, you guys asked a lot of questions. I've got like 50 questions. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get to all of them during this blitz, but we're getting far. Okay. How will Justice Roberts handle the trial in the Senate, the impeachment trial? I just got to check Roberts' cards. Roberts. Justice Roberts. Death or end of the work. This could end quickly. Fool takes a leap of faith. Victory. A star card. 2 of Wands. Going into smoother waters. The end. It looks like the Republicans are going to try and end this investigation pretty quickly. Hopes and fears, Roberts, the final outcome, waiting for the ship to come in. Unless something dramatic happens, Roberts could side with the Republicans, unfortunately. Just because he could just lay back and let the Republicans take over everything with cards like this. 7 of Wands defending the end. Death card, the end of the work. Star card is here. 3 of Wands. He's a very curious guy, Roberts. He always wants to hear the argument, and he reserves his opinions until he's heard both arguments. So the problem with Roberts is that he's always open to hear even the most absurd arguments. For example, he was one of the deciding votes on whether or not to look at whether Congress had a right to President Trump's financial records, which didn't seem like it was up for debate. So I think that it's going to move in. I think that the Republicans have an advantage. However, I don't know, but there's going to be some exposure that's going to change the dynamics. Hello, Douglas Cartier. Thank you. I would like to donate to Australia this month, but we will also be giving to our other charities as well. But thank you. Thank you for the donation. Okay, so let's keep going. Somebody had asked if we could look at the future of Igor Fruman. If Igor Fruman's going to turn, or what is going on with Igor Fruman? If he's feeling threatened. I'm curious about Igor Fruman. The law, the courts, Is he an American? It's showing. Huh, he took money regarding something. This looks almost like he took money. Walking away from a battle he can't. Heartbroken. Confused. He doesn't know what to do. The police are after him. He walked away from the money. He's heartbroken. He thought he was in a strong position. He is not. He's in trouble with the. This is going before the judge. He's very confused right now. Look at this. Look at all this confusion with Igor Fruman. The Trump team has completely cut off their relationship with him. Hopes and fears the treasure trove, right? The information coming out, and the final outcome, he's terrified. He doesn't know what to do. He feels like he's between a rock and a hard place. He doesn't know who to trust. He may be working out secret deals that nobody knows anything about, because the Queen of Pentacles keeps secrets. It's very likely that if Igor Fruman works out a deal or is cooperating, it wouldn't necessarily be public information because he appears to be very frightened and confused. He's leaning towards cooperating with the investigation out of New York, but I think this is Letitia James. There's something about an investigation, possibly out of New York, and he doesn't know who to trust, and he's confused. But he's going to have to just trust. He's going to have to come clean and trust, because he's between a rock and a hard place. But he feels threatened. So I think he's going to eventually cooperate. I think Barr is going to give a lot of rope to the Republicans based on those cards. But I think that inevitably they're going to hang themselves, because this president is not emotionally stable. Also, I think their behavior in the Senate during the trial will not bode well for them and for their ratings. And if they're not careful, McConnell will take them off a cliff. And that seems to be what's likely to happen. And they could lose the Senate if they try to shorten this trial. All right. People wanted to know about Sanders and Warren and their rift. If Sanders and Warren are going to work out their rift. Sanders and Warren. See, I see a President Warren. I don't know how it happens, but I really feel she has a certain energy on her where you can see President Elizabeth Warren, or President Warren, first female president of the United States. You know, I hear President Warren more than I hear President Sanders, more than thank you, Pogo Code. The Aussies are very grateful. If anyone knows of a charity out of Australia that has a really good rating, don't put it here. Well, put it underneath so that I can see in the notes, and I'll check the rating on it. Thanks. There's just something about Warren energetically. She's very aligned with the energy of becoming president, even though it's weird, because I wonder if Biden's going to have a health scare and have to drop out, and same with Sanders, like something may happen. It's very strange, but I still see a lot of energy over Elizabeth Warren. Interesting. All right, let's look at Sanders and Warren. If she's VP, for example, and then she becomes president afterwards, I don't know. But she has a really solid potential to be the first female president. Okay, Bernie said that you took him out of context. So, he was upset with Elizabeth Warren because he says that he did say something like that about a female, but he feels that it was within a particular type of context, and judgment coming. Let's take a look here. I think it'll balance itself out. I think that there was some confusion. I think that they've been loyal to one another. They've been advocates to one another. And now there's some confusion because they are in competition with each other. There's some confusion about what kind of a relationship they're supposed to have. I think that Elizabeth Warren was surprised that she's seeing a side of Sanders where he really wants to win that kind of surprised her. She didn't expect this kind of rift to happen between them. She's traveling again. Sanders was sidelined because he wound up losing some of his support by certain women's groups as a result of this. The Seven of Cups is over his card. I think they're going to work it out with the Page of Pentacles. Yeah. They're going to work it out, but there was a little bit of confusion. I think that what he was saying had to do with certain states or certain but let's take a look. I just want to check on Elizabeth Warren and see how she's doing, just because her cards have been usually pretty strong. How is and Klobuchar? I always had strong feelings about Klobuchar. They've both been endorsed by the New York Times, which would be an amazing ticket. Talk about a great ticket. Klobuchar is another one that I have a feeling is going to go far. She could be VP or president. Let's look at Elizabeth Warren real fast. The future of Elizabeth Warren. See, she reminds me of FDR, Elizabeth Warren. Same policies. It's like she's channeling FDR. She even has FDR's glasses. She's from Oklahoma. She just like FDR had a New Deal. She wants a New Deal. Boy, that really hurt Sanders. That's creating a rift with female voters that I didn't expect. She has the Star card and there's a man next to her. She's given an offer. There's strife here. An offer to make peace regarding strife. There's a devil above her. A new beginning. There's something over her where she survived some situation that is breaking the chain of the devil card is like an addiction or something over her that's a negative influence. What's interesting is that she's emerging in the near future as a Nine of Pentacles. So I think we could see Warren starting to resurge in the polls. Yeah, look at this, the Magician card coming in. And she has the others on the defensive. Look at this. The other in relationship to her, Seven of Wands, to be in the defensive, the hope and the fear. She's worried about a crash. She wants to work with the best people, but in her case, she really does. 5 of Wands is an exchange of ideas, a team of rivals. If Biden takes it, he's going to probably position her somewhere in his cabinet that has something to do with the economy. I could see her working with Biden if Biden gets elected. And I think she's going to work out her relationship with Sanders. So I think she's going to be fine. I always see a really strong future with her. Interesting. All right. People had asked me to look at Alan Dershowitz, the future. What a greasy person. He's got creep all over him. He's an example of a very, very dangerous sociopath, right? And that's because he's a sociopath with a law degree. Very dangerous, kind of like Barr, right? Okay, what's going to happen with Alan Dershowitz? It would be great if MI6 exposed film footage of. Wouldn't that be great? All the horrible things he's done. All right, Alan Dershowitz. What a creep. Sorry if you like him. Sleazy man. What's going to be with Alan Dershowitz? What's going to be with Alan Dershowitz? He's one of those people you don't like to check on. Gives you the willies. Juggling coin and the law. Interesting. Celebration and offers. Traveling. He does. There's some information that he's trying to attain that he thinks will help his client. Yeah, there's an international trip. I think there's something about international investigations or something. Scholar's card. I think that he won't be as public as other members of Trump's defense. It's more that he's the researcher. Hermit would suggest that he's doing research. There's some travel here, exposing some information. I think he's going to go with the narrative. Unfortunately, I don't see anything like him being removed just yet. Sorry, I know that's disappointing. All right, Vice President Pence, is he going to get in trouble? We're going as fast as we can. This is a lot of them. How's everybody? Yeah, I don't think people should vote emotionally. I think that people should just vote for whose policies we support the most, I guess. I don't know. Not because they get you excited. Let's see what's going to happen to Mike Pence. It's going to be with I gotta check on McConnell too. It's going to be with Mike Pence. Celebration in April time, and the King of Wands. It could be celebration, good news. Something's happening, and it's happening in the spring regarding a change up or changes with this administration. Justice coming in, and Six of Wands. The Lover's card, a strong position. I still think that he feels that he has a real shot at being the president. Waiting for his ship to come in. Heartbroken now regarding the end of something. I think that he is going to sacrifice this president. Look at that. Sacrificing death, broken man, hopes and fears, final outcome in the grave. I think he's going to distance himself from this administration, and I think that he's secretly hoping that he'll take a position, that he'll be the 46th president. He is considering the real possibility that he could walk into the shoes of being the next president with cards like that. And he's also preparing a defense where he will be able to distance himself from this president if necessary. Nice guy. Who's the other person I was going to look at? Is it Trump? Let me just check out Trump real fast, since we have time. It's going to be with Donald Trump. With Donald Trump. People are exhausted. People close to Donald Trump are exhausted. Ivanka Trump is exhausted. It's starting to have a negative impact on her mental health, her children's health. That was why she came in that a couple days ago. People are exhausted with this. People close to Trump are exhausted. They don't want to keep this fight going. It's just a constant battle. It just goes on and on and on and on and on. And they didn't expect this. I don't know why. Nancy Pelosi will not leave him alone. He's going to continue to be hit hard by Nancy Pelosi. The truth is coming out. More stuff is going to be exposed. Things that are hidden are revealed. This is about the eye-opening, the woman who holds the secrets. It's also about business. You can see Nancy Pelosi here hanging it up. The Sun card is also about exposure. There's a lot of stuff that's coming up. Offers keeps coming up, and a legal issue. I think a lot of evidence is still coming out against this president. There we are. He's optimistic. Hopes and fears is Roberts. And then the final outcome, the flim-flam man, juggling coin, conflicts, hopes and fears. The final outcome, Two of Swords. This is a refusal to cooperate. He's concerned about Roberts. He's been reassured by members of the Republican Party that Roberts is in his court. But he's still a little wary of Roberts, but he's pretty sure he's going to be okay. based on these cards. However, there's a ton of information that's coming out, and I think there's information coming out internationally. This has come up in the past that will not bode well for him. If the Senate tries to sweep this under the rug, it will not bode well for them, because it's very likely that if they do that, it will actually harm their reputation with the general public. It's Mitch McConnell I wanted to check on. Hi, Mila. How are you? Did you want to join us? Hi, Mila. How you doing? You come over here? Did you have your nap? You want to join us? No? All right, I got to look at Mitch McConnell. What's going to be with Mitch McConnell and attempting to end this trial soon? It's going to be with Mitch McConnell and the Senate trial. You coming? There's Flopsy. If he's talking privately with senators and saying, we got to get this guy off, we got to get this guy off, because if we open it up to a trial, a bunch of stuff is going to come out. Yes, I love you too. I love you. Oh, thank you very much. Thanks for that kiss. I'm very sweet of you. The concern that he has if they open it up to a trial is that it's going to blow up in their faces. And so it's almost like he's making a secret deal with the senators to sweep it under the rug. Don't do a trial. Let's close this thing up. And but if he does that, it could really harm him and other senators. It has to do with the fact that he's between a rock and a hard place. Like, again, this relationship with the devil, or in a situation he can't get out of, a contract or relationship he can't get out of. There's a lot about moving on and getting what he's going to try and get out of there. His wish is to move on. He's under extreme scrutiny. Look at that, the Four of Pentacles. It's about his relationship with the devil. It's about his relationship. He's bound to this relationship. He will be victorious. Ace of Swords. He may be able to close this early. Damn, he pulled double aces. Damn it. That's got me worried, I'll be honest with you. This guy's way of dealing with problems is to not give an inch. This seems to be McConnell's tactic. He doesn't even give an inch. He is the Grim Reaper. His way of dealing with the Democrats is no compromise whatsoever. His feeling, what he is meeting with the Republicans to say, we don't have to compromise. No compromise whatsoever. That is what we may not. Geez, he's going to try and nip this in the bud. He's going to try and nip this in the bud, and he's meeting with the set. You know, is that even legal? still see marches. So, damn it. Don't like that. I gotta do this. I just want to look at Donald Trump's future overall, like what will become of Donald Trump. Wow, that's an interesting, you go into, it's just so opposite of how I am. It's really hard for me to relate to it. But McConnell's way of dealing with things is to not compromise at all. It's no compromise. We don't have to. We've got the votes. Boom, moving on. That's his tactic. If you give the Democrats an inch, they'll try and wiggle in and get a mile. Like the Kavanaugh hearings. That's his attitude about it. The most likely outcome for Trump and his trial. I'm just going to do one more throw. This card's got me nervous today. He's saying it's much ado about nothing, like the Kavanaugh trial, and that it will amount to nothing. And they feel like they have the votes to get the president off. That's basically what he's saying. In a corner, but smoother waters. We have to be prepared for the possibility that he's going to be able to get the president off. Strong position. There's something about more information coming out. Eventually, look, even if they get him off in the Senate, there's something about, say they try and bury it and they try and get him off in the Senate, there's going to be some huge explosion or expose of information. It has an international component to it. Also, the fact that there are people that are somehow bound to this president. They keep getting this card. It's a feeling that people are bound to this president in a way that's like an addiction or a codependency. It does not bode well for them. And if they may experience an immediate victory by helping this president get off, but evidence will still be coming out even as even when they attempt to bury this, and it will really harm them in the 2020 election, because the final outcome is that they will abandon him. So they could have an immediate win and think, yay, look, we were able to manipulate this situation. But the effect over the nation is such, particularly when more information comes out about this administration, that could cost them the Senate in 2020. That seems to be what I'm seeing. So they may win this battle, but it would be devastating as a war plan. What they should have done is thrown him under the bus. And then they could have gotten the Pence presidency, and then they could have fought to have Pence reelected in 2020. But they didn't. They decided to go with this president until the bitter end. And that was a mistake, because the exposés coming out about this president, Ukraine, etc., and now there seems to be some international information that's coming out, is going to be devastating. I mean, and it's relatively soon too, because the sun card is in the sixth house, which means that there's another several more bombs that are going to drop. So Mitch McConnell can do whatever he likes, but he will soon regret it with cards like these. All right, we are going over because we had so many questions. We looked at Alan Dershowitz. He's not going to play as central a role as people think. He's more an academic. What he's doing is he's building the academic argument for the lawyers that will be there, but he's going to be more subdued. So he's the guy doing the research. That's what I saw with Alan Dershowitz. Vice President Pence knew this was going to come out. I think, like I said, I think that he had an insurance policy. People asked me if I could look at Boris Johnson and the future of Boris Johnson. We'll go ahead and do that also. Mitch McConnell. All right, we're going to look at Boris Johnson and Brexit. Boris Johnson and Brexit. All right. Nightmare. Nightmare. It's a nightmare for Boris. It keeps saying, every time I go into this energy, it keeps saying that there are laws on the books. The equivalent of their constitution or their laws have become a nightmare for Boris Johnson. It's as if to say that they have tied themselves in a legal mess. It can't be done. The problem with Brexit is that it's almost the law, the constitution, the laws, the treaties, nightmare, the contracts, Wales, Scotland, the contracts, the alliances, these old alliances. God, what are they going to do? Attempting to renegotiate old alliances. Confused. Harmach wheel is moving. Yeah, the alliances, the relationships. It could cost Britain a ton of money to try and pull this off. He could be replaced. He could be replaced as prime minister. There's a possibility that a woman comes in and he's in a legal knot. He's in a legal knot. That's the problem with Boris Johnson. He's in a legal knot, and the only way to get out of the legal knot would be some help, possibly this could be the Queen or a female member of Parliament. It's a disaster. It wouldn't be Great Britain anymore. It's a mess. It's a mess. All right. People had asked about Meghan and Harry. So the Queen came out and said some very nice things about Meghan, being how proud she was of Meghan. That was a disappointment for everybody who's been attacking her. Okay, let's look at Meghan and Harry and how embarrassing it is for the Queen that the American was driven out of the country. Every time I went into the Queen's energy, she was embarrassed. She was just very, very embarrassed, very disappointed with Britain, and very embarrassed and very ashamed because it reflected on her personally. Meghan and Harry. It's going to be with Meghan and Harry. Oh, they're starting a foundation. They're starting a charity. Oh, they might adopt some children. They're thinking of adopting. It's very difficult for Harry emotionally because he basically had to walk away from his family, his culture, his heritage because of prejudice, stupidity, ignorance, and it's leaving a toxic relationship. It's pretty depressing to have to leave a toxic relationship. It's like the trust fund baby that has to learn how to financially support themselves. Karmic wheel coming in. He's not a businessman. There are offers coming to him. He's getting offers. He's getting job offers, also legal help. There's a star over him. Look at this bound. Boy, the devil's been up in the cards a lot lately. New relationship, a star with a new relationship. He's bound to the old ways, bound still to the family. Yeah, it's been devastating for him. He felt like he did what he morally was obligated to do. That's why he doesn't understand how it turned out like this. He just has to go and, look, here's his feeling. You have to live your highest ethos. You have to live your highest ethics, even though you're suffering in the moment. Even if you're suffering in the moment, you still have to do what's morally and ethically right and hope that the light shines on the truth eventually. So even though it's devastating what happened, he felt a moral responsibility to do this, and he's just going to keep on keeping on. And a lot more charity work with him, even to the point where he and Meghan are seriously talking about adopting children, or at the very least, creating a foundation that helps underserved, underprivileged children. And every time I go into the remote on Harry, and he's the happiest, it's him teaching children. It's him in a classroom, like in Africa or somewhere, just teaching, with the mala on his arm, and he didn't. It's like he can't be accepted for who he is and still be a member of the royal family, and that's what's devastating for him. He is not accepted for who he fundamentally is, and who he fundamentally is one of the people, a human rights advocate, and a teacher. Thank you, Nisi. All right, somebody had asked about Andrew Peake. He was the European and Russian affairs person, and he quit after 3 months, and people want to know why Andrew Peake quit. Let's take a look at Andrew Peake. What is going on with Andrew Peake? Yeah, he really had no choice. I mean, he had to leave. I mean, you have a son, and they're calling your son a monkey and sending death threats, and his wife gives birth, and she's has post postnatal depression, and she's miserable. The only choice you would have, you have to get your family out of there. He had no choice. All right, what's going on with Andrew Peak? Why did he quit? I think something came out about Andrew Peak. I think that there was some kind of expose or something that was about to come out. And yeah, it looks like something was about to come out about him, or he was exposed. There was some kind of exposure that came up that required him to quit. Moved on. Something came out. Yeah, there was something was found out about him. So it's another case of somebody who may have been corrupted, or they intercepted something that was questionable regarding his behavior, and then when it came out, he had to leave. That's the best way for me to describe those cards. Okay, will Putin take Ukraine? That is the next question. Putin's relationship with Ukraine. You guys have a lot of questions. I think this is going to be our last one because it's already an hour and 12 minutes. So we'll just end with Putin, future of Putin, the Ukraine. We didn't get to everything. We never do. Putin, Ukraine. I don't think that the Ukraine feels that it can depend on the United States for protection anymore, because there's something about trying to work out a deal with Russia, or trying to avoid a conflict with Russia. This is almost like an alliance or a negotiation with Russia, that they're trying to create some kind of peace with Russia. But yeah, but they cannot rely on the United States. It's almost like they want to work it out between them, but that they cannot rely on the United States to help. And so that means that they will have to look into negotiating directly with Russia, because they cannot rely on the U.S. the way that they used to. They're getting some help from the U.S., but this almost looks like entering into some kind of peace agreement going forward. All right, everybody. So much stuff. So, the most interesting thing I saw was that Mitch McConnell, if Mitch McConnell attempts to throw this trial out, I think that Mitch McConnell underestimates just how angry people are. Devin Nunes. Yeah, that was the second thing, was Devin Nunes, but I think we've already done Devin Nunes. Okay, yes, okay, I'll do Devin Nunes. Then we're done. One more, Devin Nunes. That's funny that somebody said Devin Nunes, because Devin Nunes is the next thing on the list. Okay, we'll do one more on Devin Nunes. Nunes? Yeah, you're welcome. Letitia James. We love her. Yeah, Letitia James is the difference between her and Robert Mueller. She doesn't make deals. Igor's going to be crying. Show mercy on me. She's tough. All right, what's going to be with Devin Nunes? Devin Nunes. Ball of confusion. What's going to be with Devin Nunes? Interesting. He just seems shell-shocked, confused. The fact that the intelligence agencies were intercepting his phone calls and he now realizes it, he's become paranoid, tied in knots. The law after him, the police. He may have actually broken laws. He may be forced out of Congress. Complete confusion. He was very naive going into this, the Six of Wands. Felt like, the world was his oyster, and then boom, it ends and he goes into a state of confusion. Nancy Pelosi is going after him. There's more evidence against him, and there's real evidence. He's going before the ethics board in Congress. He's facing ethics charges. He didn't see that coming. Wow. Not good. All right, are we done? I think he's facing ethics challenges. I think he's shocked. I think he got conned into being a back channel. I think there were a lot of back channels. I think that they're being exposed, and I think it falls into he's in trouble. He's in a lot of trouble, and he could be one of the people that is thrown under the bus by this administration. Yeah, Larry girl, thanks for saying that. I was doing some meditating last night, and I really think that if we hold a vision collectively for, a heart-centered vision that what's best for the nation, and really praying that the senators do what's best for the nation and put the politics and their elections aside. Just really, let's pray that the truth come out and for the best possible result. And let's just hold that in our minds going forward. I think that's important. Thank you, Michelle. We love you too. Thank you to our moderators extraordinaire for their support today. And if you're trying to get in for a reading, you can go to tarotwithwhimsy.com. The information will be put below when I close this up. And I will see you next time. Take care, everyone. Peace out. Thanks for joining me.